Bethany is hopping on. Hey, you're on mute.
I thought I turned it off mute. It went on mute.
Oh, because it was connecting. Yes, sweetie.
Yeah.
You
Ooh, I
have.
like your shirt.
Oh, thank you. I heard something the other day that really resonated with me, and I thought, like, you know what? Maybe this would be a great topic to discuss and talk about.
Okay.
And it was. I actually heard it last week, and I've been doing my best to stick to it because just because. So what it was about is dressing every day like you're dressing for a party.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the instant thought that I got when I heard that, it was like this video that I watched on YouTube was, but I'm gonna ruin all of my nice clothes. What clothes am I gonna have to wear? And then I sat here. I'm like, okay, this is not me speaking. This is somebody else telling me, don't wear nice clothes because you're going to ruin it. Which typically is a parent. And I hear my other partner say that to the kids once in a while when they wear really nice clothes that we just buy for them. I'm so excited.
Right.
And then I realized I'm like, okay, so I have because I got a new closet organizer thing in my bobby.
Oh,
So
nice.
I have my clothes I wear every day, which is, I mean, it's very nice. It's comfortable clothes. That's the way I'll describe it. Okay. And then I have my nice clothes and I have my really nice clothes. And I thought, like, you know what? There are a lot of the clothes that I have in a nice section and in the very nice section I have never worn.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking, what if I actually never wear it? And,
Right. It's just sitting there. Yeah.
and then if I get it dirty, it can become my everyday. It could become my pajamas. And imagine sleeping in this as a pajama,
Right.
right? And that's like when we put really nice clothes on ourselves. Like even looking at the kids, how do you feel when you put something really nice and fancy?
Honestly, see, I have a more minimalistic view on my clothes. So I only have a certain like clothes in my closet. I only keep in there what I wear, and I don't really buy more than that. So looking at like, to me, this is a nice shirt. This is one of my nice shirts. And so I don't know, when I wear the clothes in my closet, it always feels good to like get out of like the pajamas, because I do have like my pajamas and then I have my daily clothes. And so getting out of the pajamas, I guess for me, because I mean, I guess if for nicer things, it's more of like summer wear, and it's like it's cold, it's snowy here. So I'm like, I'm not gonna put on like a little dress. But I guess thinking about that, I always feel like, sexy and just like, oh, look at me, But I feel that way in the clothes I'm wearing right now too.
Yeah,
So yeah. But
yeah,
I definitely agree with you on like the clothes. It makes the difference.
it does make a difference. And I like for me, I would wear pajamas every single day. And my reason and my excuse was, and I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs, male or female, will agree. And I've seen this even like, even like the experts, Eric Warrior. He was the one that I don't know if you might know him. He's like network marketing expert.
Hmm.
So he
I've
took a
heard of
picture
him.
of himself of how he actually looks behind the scenes. So because his videos, he has his suit on, he looks stylish, he looks great, and then take a picture from far, and you can see he's wearing basically his shorts, underwear shorts, and from the top, he looks presentable. So for me, I'm like, oh my god, this is like exactly what it is. Because I might sometimes put a really nice shirt on, but I might still be wearing pajamas,
Yeah.
right? And nobody gets to see that. But they might not see it, but I know it. So even though half of me is dressed nice, I still have that feeling like I'm half-assing it. And when I
Mm.
actually get dressed really nice, nice means like I don't mean like getting dressed for a ball. I don't
Right,
mean
right.
clothes like that. I mean, I do have nice dresses because I went to Vegas for a bachelorette party, so we needed to have nice clothes. I went out shopping. I bought all new clothes for myself, so I would feel nice going there and being presentable in front of everyone. Did I buy new pajamas? No. Right? And there's other parties that we went to. So I've collected clothes over the years. Plus, when I worked at the bank, I wore nice clothes all the time and have a lot of heels. Now, am I going to be wearing heels at home? Hell no. It's just not my thing, and I don't need to. If anything, I can put them as a display, and that will be my way of wearing them. But other than that, I don't. But it feels good when I consider that as part of self care.
I agree. Yeah. Because every morning, because I used to not do this, I would like wake up and I'd still be in my pajamas all day. And now, like, I wake up, I get dressed every day, no matter what. Even when I wasn't feeling those rough weeks, I still got dressed every day. And I see what you're saying. It helps uplift you and makes you feel, just that little bit more better about yourself. You accomplished that one thing at least. I got dressed today.
That one is huge. I would definitely agree with you. I used to wear pajamas. There's a lot of truth that I think a lot of mompreneurs will feel the pain and the struggle of that. I would wear pajamas for 3 days straight and not take a shower.
It happens. I've been there. I have been there. When you get overwhelmed and it's just like, oh, I'm the last you put yourself last in those situations.
Exactly. I was putting myself last, and this is the reason why I said a lot of mompreneurs would agree with me, because we put ourselves last, because what we do is we put our children first, our animals second, our partners third, and our business, right? Or sometimes the order changes sometimes throughout the day, throughout the week, depending on how much each one needs. And then we come in last. The business is always ahead of us, right? And for the business, again, dressing halfway up nicely. You know what I mean? And then forgetting that how great it feels when I put nice clothes from head to toe. Forgetting how great it feels when I have my hair done. And I mean, right now, this is not my hair done. Right now, what are you doing, Ethan?
I don't really know, because can you help me? I forgot how to sing the alphabet. A, B, C, D.
How do we sing the alphabet? So let's sing the alphabet, right?
I,
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
U, R, S, T, U, V.
W, X, Y, and Z.
Zen. Zen.
You guys see Z or Z?
Z.
Yeah, we see Z. That's the difference between Canadians and Americans.
That's weird. Well, it makes sense now in videos on YouTube. Well, it's weird for me, but not weird for you. But when my son, you're right. But for everyone watching, my son, he watches these shows that are people playing with toys. And sometimes they'll do the alphabet and it'll be like Zen, and Uriah will look at me like, what? And I'm just like, yeah, Z. Well, it's Z. It's Z.
Yeah.
Fine, but that's interesting. Zen.
Yeah, I mean, I only learned. I thought we had the same alphabet, and we pronounce everything the same. But then when I went to the States in 2017 to Kansas with it was like a network marketing trip with 2 girls on the team, and we went to a store, and I said Z. He's like, "Ooh, are you Canadian?" I'm like, how would you know? Oh, because we say Z and you guys say Z.
Huh.
I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, oh, yes, we are. Thank you.
Yeah, that's interesting. Anyways,
but
you learn something new every day.
Exactly, right? So maybe somebody else learned something new. And if this is the first time you guys are learning that Canadians and Americans have a few differences in the alphabet, let us know.
Yeah.
So back on topic of self-care in terms of dressing nice. Like there's one dress that I have that I bought. It's very simple. It's very like 100% cotton. It's red. I mean, red is not really my color, but it's really like baggy. It's summer dress and it has pockets. And something about it makes it me feel kind of like has like a hippie
Okay.
feel to it. So it's really comfortable, really loose, and really nice. And when I was hearing him talk about this video, right, this gentleman, I thought of that dress
Hmm.
and wanted to wear that dress. And then when you were talking about that it's cold now, this is exactly why I'm like, I don't want to wear it. It's so cold, right? My body doesn't look the way that I want it to look. So right away, I'm starting to like come up with reasons and excuses as to why. And then also like I don't want to get it dirty.
Right, right.
Ethan, I told you I cannot do. I am not, dude. I'm not doing that right now. Go ask your sister.
Mom, I can't even say the word you're trying to say. Anyways,
Mompreneur.
yes, mompreneur.
Yes.
I was saying mompreneur in the making right here. Like, good.
I mean, it's definitely challenging with them being home. It's much easier when they're not here. He has been my daughter is typically okay, but she has her moments. But my son has been the nicest way of calling it is he's been driving me nuts to stay home, especially when I have my office now almost done set up. He comes in here. I'm like, okay, just sit quietly, please. You can stay here, no problem. Okay, just sit down and pay attention to your class. He goes and he starts touching this rock right here, takes that down, starts taking things off the shelf, starts going through like bins and what's in here, what's in here, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of a coaching session with the client, and you are taking both of our focuses away from what we're doing. So I had to mute myself and talk to him nicely, right? And I muted myself to give him privacy, right? And asking him to please, like, respect. And it's difficult for them to understand because there's no class in it. There's nobody teaching them what respect is. And it is different with everyone. So it's my job to help them understand what that means to me. So I feel every mompreneur's pain in these times right now. And sometimes I'm like, it's like it's easier to blame somebody else
Right.
in a way of they're just trying to like whatever is happening right now, that is trying to break us down and get us to stop doing what we're doing. Like, no, I refuse. I'm not gonna stop doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna continue going, right? And it's going to teach them a lot of things in the process as well. So they learn a lot from us and how we deal with challenges.
Right.
So
Yeah.
how I show up is going to impact how he's going to show up when challenges come up in his life later. So that's why it's important to be cool, calm, and collective as much as possible, even though it can be extremely difficult. Like in this example right now, I could feel my heart like racing and starting to feel anger. I'm like, no. It's not serving me.
Right.
It's not serving him. It's the outcome is not going to be positive for either one of us, right? So as nicely and politely, I just GTFO.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes, like they're like I guess I'm trying to find the way to say this, but like sometimes with the kid challenges, like it just is like in a way like a test, like you say cause for me I'm working on patience and like having more understanding, and then I'll have Uriah like kind of act out, and I have to remind myself like you did, this isn't serving me. Like it's just I've been like it's a test, and I'm gonna beat this test.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we see this all the time, and I'm pretty sure everyone says that at one point of their life or another. I'm just being tested, or the universe is testing me, or God is testing me, or it still comes down to a test. And it's usually when we declare, when we decide, when we set the intention that for you, I want to work on my patience. Okay, so here's opportunities for you to work on your patience because you wanted to work on it. How can you work on your patience if you're not being tested?
Exactly.
Right? For me, my anger is low, but it's still there. And whenever it comes up, I don't like it. Like it, I've noticed that I started to get physically sick, started to feel physically sick because I don't like it, because I have a very deep understanding of how powerful anger is. And I don't want that in my life. I've already eliminated as much as I can external anger, people that are angry. Um, And now, because I stated and I said, this is what I want to work on, this is what I want to eliminate out of my life. Okay, here are your tests.
Right. Yeah. And also for me, like, cause anger, it's something that I'm working on with the patients too. So I definitely reflect, or to reflect, that didn't make sense. I get where you're coming from with that one for sure. I just couldn't think of the right word. But for me, like patience, like I chose patience and compassion because that's on the other side of anger. So I guess for me, like I try to focus on the positive instead of that negative. I know you do too. But when I say patience, I guess for me, you know, it's a lot with anger, because a lot of the times I get impatient and then anger hits me and then I overreact and it's like, oh, and then I feel bad and I have the guilt and the shame. And it's so much easier to like what you're saying, you know, being like, I don't like this feeling, like this doesn't align with me, and just breathe through it in a way. And I have to walk away sometimes and I have to put myself on a timeout. And that timeout works amazingly sometimes. Because then I'm thinking about it. Oh man. I have Brandon calling me, my roommate. He never calls me. Can I answer? Can we pause? I don't know how to do this. I can answer it because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you can go ahead and answer. I'll just talk to myself like I.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So while Bethany is doing her thing, the video, if anybody's interested in checking out the video, let me know. I will get it to you, because what I did, and this is what once I learned that I can record my screen on my phone, I started recording my screen on my phone, especially for things that I want to remember that could eventually be, it's either I might not be able to find it or they might be deleted entirely. So I screen recorded this video. I can't even remember the top of my mind what the name is of this gentleman or the video itself, but when he was talking about getting dressed, because he shared one of his experiences and what got him to actually see the other side of why some people hold on to things and put things away that are really nice. So I'll just share the story what he shared. So when he was 9 years old, he his grandma, he went to his grandma's house, and his grandma, he saw the really, really nice dishes in his grandma's house. And he asked her, when do you use these dishes? And she said, on a very special occasion. And then later she said that she's actually never used those dishes. And then she actually ended up passing away a little while later. And at 9 years old, he recognized that he did not want to be one of these people.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, it was a business thing.
I was just talking about. First of all, I let everyone know if they want to check out the video, come to me. And really, one of the stories that he shared in there that really helped me to understand the beauty of life and how we as human beings take these beautiful things that we have and we put them on display, whether it's in the closet in a form of clothes, or behind glass doors in the form of dishes. So this is what he was saying. When he was 9 years old, his grandma, he went to his grandma's house and she had really beautiful dishes. And he asked, "When do you use these dishes?" And she responded, "On a very special occasion." And then about a week or so later, she passed away, having never used those dishes. So they just sat there her whole life, and she's never actually used them. And then he started talking about that at 9 years old, he had this realization that I'm not going to be like that. That all the beautiful things that I have, I'm going to use them and I'm going to wear them all the time so I can actually enjoy them while I have them. Because those things can be replaced. Like
Yeah.
those, I mean, they probably were pricey, but they could also be replaced. This is stuff. And because I've also watched shows like Minimalism and Tiny Home Nation, so it really allowed me to have a different mindset in terms of stuff. And even like looking at my stuff here, I'm like, there's a lot of stuff that I really need in this office. So I started taking things out, putting them to to donate because I don't need them. I don't,
Right.
not that I don't want them, but I don't really need them.
And they're not serving you anymore, you know?
Exactly, right? And it's like there's a show Marie Kondo as well, the magic of tidying up or something like that,
Mhm.
and she talks about things that if they spark joy, that's what you keep. So if the things that I'm looking around that they don't spark joy anymore, I'm gonna get rid of. But things like here's the weird part of me. I mean, there's a lot, but there's one. So thing like this, okay? So this is like a witch's finger, I guess.
Oh, those are awesome. I remember those. Oh my God, I used to love them.
And I mean, to me, this brings me joy because I put it on my finger. I'm like, ooh, I am a witch, right? And it glows in the dark, so I can sit in the dark and go. So things like that I will keep because it brings me joy. The moment that this stops bringing me joy, I will get rid of it,
Hmm.
right?
I can resonate with that a lot. I've been doing a lot of that lately. Like for me, what I did was I wrote out a list of the things that bring me joy that I use on a daily basis. And it was interesting like how really the small the list was, and I thought it was like huge, like, you know, I need this, but in all reality, a lot of the stuff that I thought I needed wasn't bringing me joy, like you're
Mhm.
saying. Yeah, so I've been getting, and I've been kind of, I like that you brought that up because I've been doing the same thing. Like, if it doesn't bring me joy, I've been just getting rid of it because I feel like that negative energy is attached to it.
Yeah, yeah, and also things with price tag as well. That there, everything is energy, right? So when you have things hanging in your closet that have price tag, the clothes does not feel like it's welcome. It doesn't feel like it belongs because you haven't officially taken the price tags off and saying, "Welcome to my life," so to speak. I will wear you one day. But when the price tag is there, it's like an unwelcome guest. So when I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, that's why like the clothes that have tags, I'm very resistant to wearing it because something feels off.
Mm.
That's the way that I would describe it. And I'm very hesitant to taking the tag off because it feels very final. And that's why, like for example, children, they intuitively rip their price tags off right away. And as parents, myself, my old self, more like, I used to say, don't rip the price tag off unless you promise me you're going to wear it because otherwise I can give it to somebody else or I can sell it or I can bring it back to a store. And it's like that right there is already creating limitations for what I can have and bring into my life. Because when I say that I don't want to, let's say it's like a five, let's say $12 shirt, right? So when I say that I want to sell the shirt if you don't wear it, or I want to bring it back. So in case you don't wear it, what I'm really saying is that I can't afford another shirt like that. I can't afford another $12 because I've just spent $12 and I don't want to waste it, which creates actually lack of financial abundance.
Right. That's so true.
So instead of saying that, um, they take their price tags off pretty much right away as they're trying it on. They take it off. I'm like, okay, if you don't want to wear it, I will give it to somebody else. I have no problem with it, right? I I started not liking returning things, and I've noticed that there's a lot less things that I return. And with my clothes, I don't have any price tags on clothes anymore. I did, and that's when I recognized, okay, so if the clothes has price tag on it, what I do is I give it to somebody else. If I feel like if there's something off feeling about it, which means like, am I really gonna wear it? And you know when the how a lot of teachers that talk about getting rid of stuff and decluttering, they say if you haven't used it for 6 months, chances are you're not gonna use it. Okay. Now, thinking back about the nice clothes, I have a lot of clothes on there that has been hanging there, and I've been waiting for an occasion. Right? Every day is an occasion. You woke up, you're here. It's an occasion. Dress up, have fun, enjoy.
Mhm.
And I'm tired of waiting for these occasions because a lot of clothes on there that's been hanging there waiting for an occasion. Oh man, maybe even since like 2014.
Oh wow.
That's 6 years of clothes
Yeah.
just sitting there and waiting and saying to me, please wear me. And some of these clothes I've never actually worn.
Mhm.
So if and now using Marie Kondo's concept, if it does not spark joy, because this I bought it as the old version of myself.
Mhm.
The new version might not want to wear it anymore because that's not who I am, right? So if I look at it and I don't feel like I'm going to wear it, then it's going to go to somebody else. And I like when you said that you only have the clothes that you wear, the minimalist style. That's
Mhm.
what I'm striving for. But there's still a lot of clothes in there, and in order for me to get to that point, I want. I was gonna say I need to, but I want to go through it all and decide if
Mhm.
this is part of the me now and the future me, and if not, it's gonna go somewhere else, right?
Mhm.
I've done quite a bit of that. I used to, because at the bank I used to wear really nice like dress jackets. So some of these jackets that I guess the way that I would describe it is there was no joy in looking at these jackets. All I felt was resentment,
Mhm.
and I don't like to feel that. So anything that felt that way, thank you. I appreciate you. You have made me feel nice when I had you, and now it's time for you to go and give that nice feeling to somebody else. Um, and I'm curious. Do you have any clothes in your closet that you have not ever worn?
Yes, only well, because I just got them. I have this one shirt that I did a secret Santa with a couple of my friends, and I got my secret Santa gift as a late, but I got this really nice, like comfy, like tie-dyed shirt. Maybe on our next call I'll have to wear it so I could show you. But and also I got the bridesmaid dress because I'm at my friend's wedding. So I got the bridesmaid's dress. But those are the only two things I haven't worn. But it makes me think of, because I have clothes in there now that I'm thinking about it, that I only wear when it's warm outside. And I feel like that's limiting because, like, I'm inside my house where it's warm. So why can't I wear these clothes that I put aside, for the warm days? And also, some of it's like, well, I'm going to save this for when I lose the weight, when, yeah. So I did make a note that I want to go through my closet because there are also some shirts that I have that I've worn once or twice and they just don't resonate with me. Like, it's kind of like, oh, I didn't like the way they looked, but I still kept it because I'm like, well, when I lose weight, maybe they'll look better. But
Yeah.
I just don't like the shirt. So I actually put that down because I'm going to do that today. I'm going to go through what I have and kind of see what's taking up space in my closet so I can put a new space for stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like now I'm really getting excited to go and do the same thing because I actually have a lot of tank tops, like short string. I don't really have anything with like no strings because these puppies got bigger.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I always feel like, I don't know, it just like, you'll be in a video or you take a picture and it's like, are you wearing a shirt? I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing a shirt. Like, or like they just fall and I don't want to be outside and be like, I'm sorry about that. I just flashed you.
Right? I mean, I had no problem wearing shirts that had no sleeves back when I was cup B or B cup, whatever, however, whichever comes first type of thing in the sentence. Because so what happened? If anybody is curious, whether you're curious or not, I'm still going to tell you anyways. So what happened is after. So when I got pregnant with the twins, these puppies, they grew like this and they were hurting me a lot. And that's when I found out I was pregnant. Okay. And then not shortly after, but fairly shortly after, I found out I was pregnant with twins. I'm like, oh, no wonder. It was like hormones right away. Everything just got bigger. So when we lost them, November 9th, 2008, the following May, I got pregnant again. So they never actually went down in size. And then when I got pregnant again, they got bigger. Okay. So I mean that's what really happens. They get bigger and then afterwards they went back to the size to basically post twins. Pre-pregnancy of my daughter and post twins. So now I'm a double D or a C, depending on the bra. So I went from B to double D or a C somewhere there. I gotta go get measured once everything is lifted with this COVID stuff. And so those shirts, they simply wouldn't even fit because the size everywhere else is good, but right in the middle, it's not the same. And then it turns to a pancake.
Right? Oh yeah. And I know how exactly that is. It's so I made a boo-boo on the bridesmaid's dress that I told you about. I ordered it online. I measured myself. And so I was like, I got the size. These babies are too big for it. And this dress doesn't fit me. And I feel so bad about that because like that's the bridesmaid's dress. And in order for it to fit me, I either have to lose a lot of weight in here, or I have to get it altered, which I'm going to get it altered probably. Me and Brian have already talked about it. Like you can add on, like I only need like an extra inch or something. But I was just like, oh man. And I guess I'm bringing it up because like I felt a lot of shame and guilt about it for these last couple days. Cause I got it on Sunday and I tried it on and I'm like, oh no. Oh man, like they don't even have the dress in stock anymore, so I can't even reorder it. So I'm like, well, hey, this is a good goal dress, if anything. Like if I mean, because I know I could fit into it, and I've been going along those health things that I want to be doing. But I had to let go that guilt and shame on that. And the price tag is still on it. To be honest, it's still on it because I'm like, well, I mean, I could return it, but I can't really return it. I need it. But yeah, it's I guess I lost my train of thought where I was going with that one. But
yeah, it sounds like you were going in the direction that our clothes make us feel guilty and shameful of our bodies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had to like remind myself, like, no, I am happy with where I'm at and I have options in order to make it fit me. Like I could take it to a tailor or whatever. And me and Brian were looking it up too. Like we could add lace to it. Sure, it might look different than the other bridesmaid's dress, but I don't know. I like looking different than everyone else. I like to show off my unique self. So I'm like, ooh, maybe we could like add a cool lace in the back instead. Or, I can change it up kind of to like my liking. And my friend will still be happy because it's the dress. Fingers crossed. Yeah. I haven't told her yet.
Long hair that can cover it in the back too.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have hair and you're not going to take pictures of us with our back. Like in the pictures is going to be the front. So as long as the front looks the same, I'm like, whatever. But I was like really upset over that. And I had to like be like, why are you upset? There's options. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
I just put the hammer down.
But that's what clothes does have that power.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to rephrase that. We give clothes that power to make us feel good or bad, because clothes doesn't have power. We are the ones that give that clothes the power to either make us feel crappy about
Right.
how we look and feel in those clothes, and then we blame the clothes, and of course blame ourselves, and it's like, right, it doesn't feel good. Or we can say, okay, it's time to move on. I can go and buy new clothes for myself. Yay! I'm gonna give this away. And then when you're talking about holding on to clothes that I will fit into when I lose a certain, like, again,
Yeah.
if it doesn't feel good now, why hold on to it?
Exactly. Yeah, that's so true. Cause it's like it's not serving you. It's not making you feel good. You look in your because I look at all my clothes in the beginning of the day and I see those clothes and I'm like, and it brings that little damper on. So I agree 100%. And that's like, I know we don't usually do homework with the Heal the Unicorn, but that's my homework. I'm going through my closet when we get done with this call.
Yeah, I think I might end up going through my closet maybe on the weekend because I still have to finish a lot of stuff in here. And a couple of other stuff I gotta do for in terms of working, you know, the children as well. But I want to get to it sooner rather than later, because by getting rid of the best way that I can explain is when I walk into my closet and it feels off, it feels like something does not belong here. It almost drains my energy, and then it's like, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, and it's like, and going down in energy. But when I get rid of the clothes that I don't want, then I can walk into this closet of mine and feel energized, because I will feel, I guess, the love towards all of my clothes, and I will feel that love back. I don't know if you're still here because you look kind of frozen. um, so I'll talk to myself, I guess, for a little while until we get Bethany back. Yeah, I don't know. She's frozen. So, anyways, in terms of decluttering, yeah, she's coming back. There we go.
Hey, we're back. I was like, oh, something's going on. I don't know if it's my internet or what's going, because it is a little, it looks like
yeah, because you got frozen, and I was like talking, like she's frozen. Like, I'll continue talking, and then after I was done my talking and sharing whatever came to mind, I'm like, okay, Bethany's frozen. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'll just talk to myself. Let's talk about decluttering, right? And so decluttering actually lifts the fog that we have here. A lot of us, actually, most of the population, complains about foggy mind, foggy brain, not feeling clear. And a lot of it has to do with our system being overloaded by stuff. Mm-hmm. That's why people who are living a minimalist lifestyle, they're less likely to experience that fog. And of course, there's also the diet that does that as well. Lack of drinking enough water, caffeine does that. So there's other things as well. Right, talking about water, I'm like, I have my water bottle here, and I got
I know, I'm like, water, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, so I mean, there's also other things that we put into our system that creates that fog, but quite a big part is when we have too many things, and subconsciously we know that they're there and that we need to deal with them at a certain point, and then sometimes we never deal with it, right? Or sometimes we finally get to it, and when we're done, it's like, oh, that feels so good. Why didn't I do that before?
Yes, like that lighter, brighter feeling. I actually decluttered my kitchen a couple days ago. And that was just like it really helped improve the mentality I was feeling, because I was feeling so like, rough, and just like I wasn't feeling up to my norm. I guess normal isn't the right word to say, because I'm changing. Yeah, my usual self. And so after I decluttered, it was like, oh, okay, that's what I needed to do. And now the more we talk about clothes, now I'm like, where else can I declutter? Because I'm sure there's other places that need to be decluttered. I actually went through my junk drawer this morning and decluttered that. So, yeah.
And how did that feel?
Oh, it was nice. I found stuff I was looking for. I can't find anything in here. And then I was able to find it because it was organized and all the unnecessary stuff was out of there. So yeah, it was empowering. And it feels lighter and brighter. I feel like whenever I declutter, I'm like, oh, the sun's out, like that.
Yeah, I actually don't have a junk drawer in my house. I know a lot of people have a junk drawer. I like all of my drawers are fairly organized because I like to find my things. And like what I do have, and I actually went through it today. I have this tiny like little glass bowl, I guess, that I have, where I'll find like little parts and little pieces. Like, for example, this was in there, and it's like a tiny little toy.
Oh, okay.
A bird, and it attaches to things. So I have it here, laying to see if I can find a use for it, because it's kind of cute. It's a skeleton bird. And then it had erasers that looks like dice. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm just gonna bring it into my office and see if I'm gonna leave it as decoration. I'm like, nah, that's gonna clutter it. So I'll put it on the side. I'm gonna give it to the kids because they're gonna love doing that. And I mean, there's little screws, broken part from one of the cars that my son has. And as I'm going through it, I'm like, well, if I haven't fixed this car yet and glued it back together, chances are I'm not gonna do it. And it's been maybe 6 months, so in the garbage you go. Thank you for being broken the second that my son touched it. I appreciate you for being here, but it's time for you to go, right? And the reason why I say that is because it's very important to say thank you for the things that you're actually letting go, and not curse them, so to speak, because I can't remember exactly why, but it's like when you have people at your house, for example, you're going to thank them for being here, right? You're not going to give them a boot and say, GTFO, I hope to never see you again. It creates positive energy, right? And then that clothes feels good leaving the house, and the next person that sees it, they'll have that feel good feeling about this clothes, and they'll go and they'll buy it. And that's why sometimes we also find ourselves, when we go and buy clothes, we like it and we buy it and we bring it home and we never wear it, because that was the purpose of the clothes. The purpose was for us to actually buy it, have it. It gave us what we needed from it. And then now it's time for us to say thank you and let it live the rest of its life somewhere else. And at the same time, I also want to take a moment and mention that the reason why I believe in wearing all the clothes that we have until it's done, and not going and buying new clothes over and over again or keeping up with the seasons, is because there's already so much clothes out there. And when you go and donate to like a thrift store, a lot of this clothes actually end up thrown out, and a lot of those clothes ends up in the landfill. There's a lot of clothes in the world that's just being wasted, and many of them still have price tags. So I'm not saying don't go and buy clothes. I'm just saying buy a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you don't, give it to somebody you know who would like it. Right. I actually have a couple of people that I give my clothes to instead of bringing it to the thrift store, because of this journey that I heard of, and that it just all ends up in a pile, and then some of it gets burned, and all of that gets released into the air that we all breathe. And some people say, well, it doesn't matter. It gets burnt in like, let's say Africa, for example, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me, but it does.
Yeah.
It still does. And then again, for me, my question is, do you not think that people that live in Africa are people that they don't deserve clean, fresh air,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the back end stuff of this world that we're living in, the fast retail world that we don't know about. There was a show I watched, I can't remember what it's called, on Netflix, that was talking about the reality of this fast retail, the reality of like the furniture world as well, how people that are making real furniture out of wood, there a lot of them have gone out of business because the IKEA, for example, replaced them. That was one of the stores that was used, and IKEA has done quite a few shady things as well. It's all about profit, profit, profit. Um, so yeah, and I don't want to because we have like 10 minutes left. I don't want to end it on like this downer kind of a note.
Right.
So I've written down the question here. Why do you keep your beautiful clothes in the closet and not wear it? So that would be more like a question for everyone who's listening or watching. I would love to hear, why do you keep your beautiful clothes in the closet and not wear it? And there's any answer goes, right? I'm not looking for the right answer because there is no right or wrong answer. What I'm looking for is authenticity and honesty, because in order for everyone to understand their why, sometimes they need to understand your why. So my why is because I have a story in my mind that um, certain clothes need to be worn on a special occasion, right? And nice clothes should not be worn in the house. Nice clothes should be worn outside. And I mean, nowadays, most people are inside, they're not going outside. And then sometimes when I wear nice clothes outside, I feel like I'm too fancy and everybody's like looking at me and judging me like, where is she going? Who is she trying to pick up and impress, right? So that's the other like stories that got added into my mind over the years. And I choose to wear my nice clothes now. Now, when I say nice, I don't always mean like sparkling, shiny, and new and dresses. I wear this shirt every day. I mean like clothes that make me feel good about myself. And typically, my pajamas don't always make me feel good. But some days, my pajamas actually make me feel good. And it feels like this is the clothes for today because I feel fancy in this clothes and I feel comfortable. Now, my pajamas are not fancy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For me, I don't know. I wear a lot of my clothes, so it's I've been trying to think of an answer for this one because I'm like, well, why would I? I guess if I do have stuff, it's so it doesn't get ruined, you know. But like you talked about earlier, like who cares? It's materialistic things, and that's where my mindset goes. Like now, I wear whatever I want. I look through my closet, and I think tomorrow I'm gonna make sure I start doing that. So if I want to wear one of my summer shirts or I want to wear a dress that day, I'm gonna wear it because I choose to, and it makes me feel good. But I enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my answer, I guess, on it.
Yeah, as I was listening to you, so thank you for sharing that first of all.
Yeah.
And I think you're the first person that I met that I know who wears everything in their closet. So I aspire to be that way.
Oh.
So thank you for sharing that with me. And one thing I also wanted to add in terms of my why, and I know like, and this is where like my mind sometimes it's like, no, don't say it because you know this is like personal. Nobody needs to hear it. Nobody needs to know. But here's the thing, okay? I switched my deodorants to natural deodorants that don't. I switched from antiperspirant to deodorant. Okay, so I've learned that there is a difference because one has aluminum and the other one doesn't, right? And I've tried three different three different brands. I'm putting two fingers up because two of them I use. So I tried, actually no, four different brands I tried. And what I've noticed is that I put it on and then I still find myself sweating.
Hmm.
And it just does not feel comfortable, and not like not a lot, but still find myself sweating and it's uncomfortable. Whereas when I used to wear antiperspirant, because it completely would just basically block everything, I didn't sweat, and it would be for me to sweat, I would need to do something very physical and then I would sweat. Whereas, and that's one of the reasons why I don't want to wear some of my clothes, because it might feel, for example, like a little tight under on my arms or armpits, and I would feel like I'm sweating and it feels uncomfortable and it's wet. So that's another reason why. And then my gremlin tells me, you're fat. And that's the reason why. Why don't you go and lose a little bit of weight, and then you'll be able to fit in that, and maybe the sweating will stop, right? And I've lost weight and sweating didn't stop, right? So, and I gotta tell my grandma it's not that,
Yeah.
right? So that's another one of my why. And the reason why I wanted to share that and is because somebody else might find that very useful, and understanding why else they could be resisting wearing this nice clothes, because I might ruin it with my sweat,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, that's a huge one. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I use antiperspirants and I'm kind of like, you got my mind going on it. Cause I know my mom in the past, like she stopped, like she doesn't use it. And growing up, I'd be like, well, that's weird. Like, yeah. But
Yeah.
now I'm kind of like, and you know, you have your lymph nodes in your armpits, and so when you're putting that on, you're really like adding toxins. And this thought just came to me right now, you're adding toxins to your lymph nodes,
Yeah.
which your lymph nodes are trying to remove the toxins. So you're like, yeah, interesting. Well,
You
thank
know,
you for that.
oh, you're welcome. The reason why
Yeah.
I actually came across this knowledge as well, which was 3 years ago now, when I started focusing on opening up my third eye, um, I've learned that that blocks,
Yeah.
right, the connection to the third eye, and so does fluoride in the toothpaste, and even water that we drink has fluoride. So a lot of us end up having a lot of fluoride that calcifies the third eye. And when I learned that, I'm like, ooh, I'm trying to decalcify my third eye so I can. And this is where, like, and everyone, how do I put it? There's a lot more to it, right? And all of us uncover different parts that help us to reach a certain level of a connection or spirituality that we want to. So for me, that's what I've learned, and that's why I found myself switching. Yes, I found myself switching without hesitation,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And I keep wanting to go back because of that feeling of comfort, I guess. Because when we sweat, it make I don't know about the rest of you or and you, Bethany, but for me, it makes me feel a little uncomfortable, um, and it almost feel like guilt and shame comes up for me, right? And it's also the voices in my mind that were put there by other people, and then I internalized them and made them as my own. Or it might have not been directed at me, but I remember when I worked at the bank, there was one woman that started working with us, and she was of a certain background where she didn't believe in antiperspirant or deodorant or perfume, and there was the smell. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And people would always talk bad about her behind her back and be so nice to her face and complain about her, and I didn't like that because I don't like gossip, right? Gossip is, it's very draining, and I've always stayed away from gossip. I don't like that. So that's where I got that story in my mind, because I was watching this happen to somebody else, and it made me feel really bad. Like I actually I find myself in situations like that being extra nice to people that are being talked to behind their back. And at the same time, I'm not the person to go and say, oh, everybody's talking about you because, I mean, there's a lot of becauses. I'm not going to go into it. It's just not how I am, right? I don't go and try to start something, stir it up, right? And at the same time, what benefit would come out of it?
Yeah, that's true. And when you bring up the whole smell thing, that's something that like makes me want to use the antiperspirant deodorant, because I would see like with my mom, like, yeah, I noticed when she'd use the natural stuff, there'd still be sometimes a smell there after she, clean the house or something. And that like that, or my brothers would tell me like, oh, you stink, and it's that story that was put into my mind. So I'm really happy you brought that up, because it's kind of like, who cares if I can go take a shower if it's really that bad.
Yeah.
Instead of being so like, oh man, I don't want to smell for other people. Like, who cares? Like, it's your body. You only get one of it. Take care of it, So
Yeah.
I'm really glad we had this conversation.
And I mean, it went from one side to now talking about smell.
Right?
And one thing I also learned, there was something I watched, right? There's a lot of things I watched and I listened to. I don't know if it was from a book or from a show or whatever it was. I learned that stress sweat is a lot more stronger. So that when I learned that, I was like, "Ooh, let me test it out." So I would smell my sweat, and I could definitely tell the difference that when I'm really stressed for enough long period of time, where for the day, even with kids, right? Because that it has a lot more powerful smell to it, and then um, from that, it's like, okay, what's causing me stress, and how can I overcome it? How can I smell like flowers type of thing, right? And I'm not talking about me being smelly. I don't know if you guys can smell me or not, but I smell like flowers. I even put perfume on myself, right? Because it's nice. But
Yeah.
with antiperspirants, with deodorants, they just need to be reapplied. Like with antiperspirant, I would put it on in the morning and I'm good for 24 hours. Whereas with deodorant, you got to reapply it. So that's the secret to not smelling. Continuing to reapply. That's why I have one in my office. I have one in my bathroom upstairs because I don't need one on the main floor anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I don't know. I really feel like I want to change up my deodorant. And I think I actually need to get a new deodorant soon anyway. So what a great synchronicity this was. Yes, I love it. I love our little podcast talks. It's always a good one.
Yeah, awesome. So we'll just wrap it up here. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Like everybody says, subscribe. So I got to start at some point and start asking people to actually take action and subscribe on whatever platform you're watching me or listening to me from. If you like what you hear, the open and honest and raw conversations and extremely intimate and personal, the stuff that a lot of people don't want to talk about. A lot of people tell me, don't say that, Yana. Don't talk about that. You're a professional. But I'm a human being as well. First a human being and then everything else and then a professional, right? And my tribe will find me. So if you like what goes on here, these conversations, then subscribe, connect with me and with Bethany. I always include the information in the description down below. So other than that, thank you, Bethany. You always an awesome personality on these Wednesday HTU calls, as I like to call it, Heal the Unicorn.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, I love it. I love doing this. It's empowering, definitely. And I learned something new, and we bounce off different things that we do with each other. And I feel like sometimes I find like a new understanding of things, and it's always growing. And that's something I always want to do, is grow.
Yeah. And one of the things that I wanted to also mention is a fear that I know I had, and some mompreneurs or just moms or human beings might have is that how can you can like here's my thought. How can I continue to be friends with someone when I feel like I've already shared everything and there's nothing else they can learn from me?
Hmm.
Whereas we've been friends for what 2 years now and continue
Yeah,
to exchange new information because new information always comes into our field, into our minds and everything, and it goes that same for everyone. So
I agree.
keep connecting, keep talking, keep sharing, and remember that everything continues to grow if you continue to water it.
Definitely.
That's
I
it.
agree.
Yeah. So other than that, until next week.
Are you going on another call right now?
No, now I gotta start doing some work.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for having me. It's always a blast. Well, I'll see you next week, and I'm excited for our conversation.
Cheers. Okay. Thank you, and much love.
Much love. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.